always been quite a late developer. Like, you know when you first find out about the birds and the bees, where babies come from? Give us a cheer if you found out via family. Yay! Via friends. Yay! Still quite a lot of you unaccounted for. Do you just not know? Did anybody find out via a book? Yay! What book was it? Was it The Joy of Sex? Did you flick through it with your mum, did you? I've done that with your dad. There was a fella the other day said he'd found out about sex via a book, and I said, what book was it? And he said, well, I say book, it was more of a magazine. Some of you might recognise this. This is The Body Book by Claire Rayner. Recognise it? Yeah, excellent. And I've kept it all these years, just to refer back to, really. Like when my boyfriend's trying to make us do something I don't really want to do, I just flick through and go, that hole's not mentioned in here at all. If Claire Rayner doesn't approve, then neither do I. But this book refers to the, vagina. It refers to the vagina as the baby-making hole. It's awful, isn't it? Awful. I've got a big problem with it being called the baby-making hole, largely because I don't have kids, I don't want kids, I don't really like kids. I'm sure you've got them, and I'm sure they're smashing, but I'm glad you've left them at home where they fucking belong. Somebody I know was recently having to child-proof the house, and I totally picked up the wrong end of the stick. I thought it was make so the little buggers can't get in, or if they do get in, they come to harm. So I did a bit of research, and it turns out advice on how to child-proof your house is advice on how to do the opposite as well. Example, 3 foot of electrical cable is enough to endanger a toddler's life. That's good to know. It also recommended that you teach your children how to respond to fire, which sounded like a fun game. So I reckon a combination of the following things is enough to keep the little shits out of my house. Forks in front of every socket. Aww. Multicoloured beakers filled with bleach. And bonny sparkly things at the bottom of your pond. Ooh, splash. That's what childproofing means to me. A friend of mine had a baby girl recently, and I wanted to buy a present because it's a nice thing to do, isn't it? But I don't know why you're supposed to buy babies. But a different friend who has adult children, she said, oh, there's only one rule, you buy her something to grow into. That's the rule. So I bought her a bra. But I wasn't just given this book, I was told about sex by my family. And when I say a family, I mean, you know, like your mum. I don't mean like a special uncle. But when I was little, I was quite creative, but incredibly shy. And I used to write poems and stories, and the only way I could perform them aloud was to do so from behind a curtain. Just accept it, it's me childhood. So I'd stand behind a curtain and read my poem aloud, hoping that my family were still in the room. And if I was a good girl, I got a banana. So when it came to finding out about sex, my mum said, do you want to go behind the curtain? And I thought, if she gives us a banana at the end of this, that'll just be really weird. But you know, the next stage of sex advice, the next stage when you find out that it's not just for making babies, you know, that it's also for making money. Getting your own way, that sort of thing. My mum gave me one line of advice and one line only. She said, remember, you don't have to put anything in your mouth you don't want to. Then she made me eat broccoli, which felt like double standards. But this book's not just about sex, and has stuff in about how our bodies change, in particular how our bodies change as we get older. And I want to read a little bit to you, if I may. It says, after many, many years, long after their children are grown up, people who are old get tired all over. Their hearts get tired of beating like a drum. Their muscles get tired of storing up work. Their brains get tired of thinking and feeling. The time has come for the old person to die. And the next line is, so they do. But what horrifies me is just before that, there's a section all about naps. I love a nap. I've got a horrible feeling that I'm a paragraph above death. But I turned 36 last year, and for the first time ever, and I've no idea why it's popped up now and hadn't popped up before now, but for the first time ever, I feel sexy. I've never felt sexy before. I think it's because I feel like I'm in control of things. I feel quite confident. Figure-wise, I feel quite womanly. I think I'm aware of my flaws, and I've accepted them. And anybody who doesn't can fuck off.